In today's video we will expose the audacious proclamations put forth by Pakistan in its submission to the United Nations, juxtaposed against the harsh reality on ground. Pakistan claims itself to be a vibrant democracy and promises to continue to uphold fundamental freedoms, including meeting people's needs and providing an enabling environment for the continued exercise of their rights to freedom of expression, assembly, and association. However, the harsh reality is the Freedom House rates Pakistan as partly free with a dismal score of 37 out of 100, casting doubt on its claim of being a free democracy. This ranking is marred by a multitude of issues, such as military influence, attacks by extremist groups, and constraints on civil liberties. Pakistani journalist Taha Siddiqui exposes the facade of democracy, revealing a covert military grip on the government. Alarming instances like the conviction of human rights activist Idris Khattak in a military court, condemned by UN experts in December 2021, further illustrate the dire state of democracy in Pakistan. Let's talk about protection for minorities. Pakistan's claim, in order to protect minorities and promote their public participation, the government has taken several legislative, policy, and administrative measures. The disturbing reality, minorities, constituting a mere 4% of Pakistan's population, face discrimination enshrined in the constitution. Recent incidents of violence and attacks against minorities are deeply troubling, with cases like the murder of priest William Siraj, the killings of Sikh businessmen and an Ahmadi man, forced conversions, kidnappings, and the desecration of Hindu temples are just some of the injustices they endure. For example, in 2020, the shrine of a Hindu saint, Sri Paramahansaji Maharaj, was vandalized in the Karak district, and a surge in hate crimes against minorities in 2022, as reported by Deutsche Welle. Let's see the reality of blasphemy laws. Pakistan's claim: the government of Pakistan is committed to curbing the misuse of blasphemy laws. However, the unsettling reality is, blasphemy laws act as a hanging sword on minorities. In 2022, Freedom House rated Pakistan's religious freedom as 1 out of 4, noting that the blasphemy laws are often exploited by religious vigilantes to target religious minorities, leading to persecution, violence, and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings. Minorities in Pakistan live in constant fear, as mere accusations can lead to imprisonment or even death. The misuse of these laws to suppress dissent and religious diversity is a stain on Pakistan's legal system. One of the most prominent cases is that of Asia Bibi, a Christian woman who spent nearly a decade on death row after being falsely accused of blasphemy. Her release in 2018 sparked violent protests, illustrating the religious extremism that often accompanies blasphemy allegations. Let's hear Pakistan's claim about gender equality. Pakistan's claim: the federal government has enacted a number of laws, policies, programs, and other measures to remove gender disparity and empower women. The grim facts: Pakistan's abysmal ranking of 142 to 156 in the Global Gender Gap Index Report 2023 for economic participation and opportunity, 138 to 156 for educational attainment, 132 to 156 for health and survival, and 95 to 156 for political empowerment paints a stark contrast to its lofty claims. Shockingly, women represent less than 25% of the workforce, and their income hovers at a mere 16% of men's earnings, according to UN Women. Does this sound shocking to you? Wait until we expose violence against women. Pakistan's claim: in addition to policy measures, Pakistan has also enacted various legislations to address violence against women, including harassment, deprivation from inheritance, domestic violence, acid throwing, and rape. The painful truth: Despite legislative efforts, the implementation of laws to protect women remains feeble. Disturbingly, over 34% of married or formerly married women in Pakistan have experienced spousal physical, sexual, or emotional violence, with 56% of them suffering in silence. The UN Committee on Elimination of Violence Against Women expressed concern about gender-based violence and domestic violence acceptance, highlighting the need for stronger action. Pakistan also claims that it is working in close coordination with United Nations human rights mechanisms by actively engaging with them, especially the Human Rights Council, HRC, and its allied mechanisms and forums. But the harsh reality is Pakistan continue human rights violations, even being warned by UN and other human rights groups. The recent forcible deportation of Afghans bears the testament for the same. Thousands of Afghans are forced to flee their homes even with valid documentation. But Pakistan does not seem to care about anyone, be it UN or the innocent human lives. Pakistan does not fear anyone, and the freedom media enjoys in the country speaks volume for its ruthless nature. Pakistan's claim: Pakistan supports the role of free media. The startling truth is Pakistan languishes at 157 out of 180 in Reporters Without Borders ranking of media freedom, placing it in the bottom 15%. Media outlets face threats from both civilian authorities and the military, with journalists enduring violent attacks by military agents. The proposed Pakistan Media Development Authority raises concerns, as it could potentially punish journalists for regulatory breaches. Regrettably, Pakistan is deemed one of the most perilous places for journalists, with cases of threats and violence persisting into 2023. So no one dares to speak up in Pakistan. If he still dares to, he is met with just one fate: enforced disappearances. Pakistan's assertion: the alleged cases of missing persons are being expeditiously and efficiently dealt with by the Commission of Inquiry on Enforced Disappearances. The stark contradiction: the Islamabad High Court's scathing criticism in June 2022 contradicts this claim. Chief Justice Athar Manala's remarks highlight the Commission's incompetence, dubbing it a burden that must justify its existence. Moreover, the court pointed fingers at the government's involvement in enforced disappearances, echoing a disturbing historical pattern. Pakistan is a living hell for its people. The only survivors in the country are mere spectators who stay quiet at every injustice.